Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show. And today we are going to be in the outer limits. Before we go on, for those of you in the United States, happy Independence Day. It's July 4th. We had ours July 1st. Don't you feel free? Don't you feel independent? Don't you feel like we are living in a democratic system? Wow. I figured I reiterate this so people didn't think I was losing my mind by wishing Happy Independence Day. But the concept of wishing happy independence to any country is a testament of true freedom. But since we don't have that, and I doubt very seriously we ever did have it, the ideology is at least worth mentioning. Don't feel bad. We got the same shit in Canada, no different. The only difference between Canada and the United States is the number on the dial. That's all. Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7. We just happen to be in the no channel. You got to get HBO to watch Canada. Wow, look at those Canadians. Today was an interesting day. I was getting people sending me research, and I was looking at it. And the WHO made a mistake. Can you imagine that? They came right out and admitted they made a mistake. I said, wow, the WHO made a mistake. They're saying, and there's the YouTube video on it I posted. They're actually saying that you can't spread this COVID. You can't spread it. So why do we need to wear a bloody mask? And then, there's another document from the WHO and from the CDC stating that the masks don't work. They give you a breakdown, and all these people wearing the mask and the gloves. This is the interesting thing. I mean, it's in the report. I've been saying this for a long time anyway, but they actually had a documentation that comes right out and validates everything I've been saying about the gloves and the mask and all the bullshit that they've been making everybody wear. They want an epidemic to happen. It didn't happen. It failed. This outbreak that they were planning did not manifest. They're probably working on another one right now for stage 3 or 4. Stay tuned to another conundrum that's coming to a city, planet, state, county near you. This was all about. They were trying to spread the infections. The lunatics that have passed the laws in the United States and Canada about wearing a mask should be taken out to the back 40 and hung. Seriously. Without any due diligence on their part, they listened to a medical staff that was giving them bad information, and how many people have actually died as a result of the isolation alone? We had two young kids die here in Canada. They were running track and field, and they had those stupid masks on, and they just keeled over and dropped dead. All that gassing that they were producing from the heavy breathing from running the track released all those gases inside the respiratory system, and it killed them. And you know what the biggest kick of all this is? The biggest kick of all this is that no people decided to challenge this status quo here. Everyone complied. Well, I didn't comply. I don't wear a mask. I got my exemption. But I've had to take a stand even with the exemption. I was telling you how a bank lady was trying to was demanding that I comply, and I told her basically to F off in a very polite way, mind you. But if it had gone any further, it would have been those choice Canadian words I just mentioned. We are living in the state of complicity. And complicity is okay when it's a mutual benefit and there's something to substantiate the reason for mutual complicity. But in this situation, in this concept, this is not about having anything mutual here except death. They were trying very hard to propagate the spread of a disease that doesn't even exist. There's another one. You got all three of them tonight. I couldn't believe how these all fell in place. I was looking at one, another one came, and another one came. I said, holy jumping. And it was like one led to another. The whole concept of even the corona existing, there is no merit to that either. There is absolutely no proof on it. None. Nothing to substantiate the saying that this exists. Nothing. No tests. There's no viable test for it. Number one, they have no idea what is going on with it really, and you'll read that as well in the documentation. The whole thing was fraudulent from day one. All of it was fraudulent from day one. The interesting thing about it all of it, like I said, the depressing thing to me about all of this is how many people just went along and just complied and never questioned anything. I mean, I've been saying this forever, that the government is the last thing in the world you want to trust. And right beside them is the media. And the media is nothing but a MK Ultra mind programming device that is in everybody's home to program people to believe the bullshit that they want you to propagate. This script has been written before. This script was written in the 1920s, in the 1930s, in the 1950s, and 1960s. This is the same script. 1970s, I believe, is when they were going to make mandatory vaccinations a real deal in the United States. And like I stated before, what stopped it was one of the head mafiosos of organized crime at the time in New York went in, got the shot, came out, and he dropped dead. Stopped the program. Now they said they've been testing the program, and 20% of the test subjects have died. They're in a mad rush to get this out there. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to call the game before it happens. How's that grab you? I will call the game before it happens. And this way, when it happens, say, yeah, you were right. You know, I hear that a lot lately. When they have their mock vaccine ready, they're going to release a nanobiotechnology in the atmosphere through chemtrails or through the food or through the water or through something. They're going to release a major outbreak of something, and it's going to hurt everybody like hell. They're going to activate the nanotechnology or the nanobiology inside of everybody, and you're going to start breaking out with lesions. You're going to start breaking out with rashes. Your hair on your head, the hairs on your body, under your arms, between your legs are all going to drop and change. Eyelashes will fall out. All kinds of shit's going to happen. And people then will demand that vaccine. They will beg for it. They will plead for it. If they have to prostitute themselves, they will prostitute themselves for it. But they will run to the doctors when they activate the frequency, when they activate the program that they released in the air, that everybody will have breathed in. When everyone's in this dire pain, everybody will run to the doctors and get the implants that they want to put in those vaccines. I guarantee it. That'll probably be the way it's going to go down. They'll release something in the air, or they'll activate a frequency, and the next thing you know, you're going to barely be able to walk, you're going to barely be able to think, you won't even know what planet you're on, your visuals will be blurry, you'll have voice to skull hitting you all the time and creating more and more anxiety. The programming will continue, and everybody who's not awake, and there'll be some awake people too, will run to the doctor. They will run to that doctor to get some kind of relief, and you'll say, well, we got this shot that will stop this. And everyone says, yes, give me this shot. Anything to make the pain go away. Mark my words. This whole thing was nothing but a big scheme. They were propagating this scheme to see what it would require to get everybody on board. And nobody here is paying attention to them about wearing a mask in the heat of the day. And I think a lot of these reports came out then when they realized that the season was where we're at, and it's going to be the hottest part of the year, and nobody's going to wear these masks anyway. And if anybody does say anything, they'll agitate it into a fight. So now all of a sudden they're doing a 180. Oh, you can't catch it this way, you can't catch it that way. Oh yeah, blah. So you got that, Then you got the definition of what, how to test for the virus, and they have absolutely nothing on it. that tells you it came out of a lab. It tells you that there was some sort of bioengineering going on there, incorporating nanotechnology, so that when it gets in your system, the operating device will be the nano directing traffic. You know, that's the way it goes. That's how it's going to roll. So keep this in mind that, you know, all that's going on in front of you, it's just pure bullshit. And as I stated before, if you start talking about what's going on with the shots, you know, you got people heckling you because you're not wearing a mask. Tell them, why are you wearing a mask when the WHO just said they do nothing? They absolutely do zero. They don't stop the drippings. They don't stop anything from being passing through the fibers. They don't work. You know, shake them up a little bit, rattle them a little bit. They may then begin to realize that the government is hooping them, and hooping them hard. You know, they may get that concept. Wait a minute, what's going on? Why is the government telling me to wear a mask that's poisoning me with about 10 different chemicals? You know, why am I wearing this? You know, why, you know, am I getting treated for something that I don't have? Why do they want to push a vaccine on me? What is the whole gizmo about pushing a vaccine? Why do they want to do this? Why? Like I said, you know, we need to stop complying. Whenever we have an opportunity, we should all voice what we know about these vaccines. We need to know, voice on what's going on with the face mask, how it's not only just a muzzle, but it's releasing a toxic gas agent inside your respiratory system that's going to spread throughout the body because it'll translocate, and you are going to have a variety of different types of cancers, a variety of different types of autoimmune disorders. They may say, oh, you're full of shit or whatever. It's okay, you planted a seed. Then when the time comes and something like that does happen, they'll say, wow, you tried to warn me and I didn't listen. So like I said, don't just stay there. If someone says something to you about a mask, because you got your exemption form, and says, well, how come you don't wear a mask? It says, well, I don't need to. Neither do you. So there is no COVID. There's no evidence to the fact that it even exists. And you can go on and explain it to her. So when we're seeing the outreach, if you will, it's all going to be contingent to how many people actually get up and talk to other people or present certain things. Some people may come after you and argue with you and debate with you and say you're crazy, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And we've had 3 people die here and they all had COVID. Then my question would be, you got proof that's what they actually died from? Did you actually read the death certificate? The real one or the forged? So like I said, when you start talking to people, don't back down. If they are going to be adamant about whatever it is they're talking about, then be as strong and as firm as you can be. Let them understand that what they're doing is not right. It's not in any way, shape, or form right. Taking a poison inside the body and allowing that to poison you is not a right thing to do. And when we look at the great television game and the great political game, see, we've got so many distractions going on right now. We've got an American election coming up there. We've got the battle of the senior citizens, as my son was saying this morning. The grandpas are running for president. Mr. Bush and Mr. Biden. Grandpas. Because the presidency is no longer for an American. Unless you are a billionaire today, you can never win an election in the White House. I'm waiting for when Trump finishes his 4-year term. I expect Bloomfield to be back in the saddle. And I expect him to buy his way in like Trump did the first election. So, it's a wonder today why anybody would even want to see the presidency in the country. All the stupid things that goes on, all the compromises you have to make, all the announcements that you have to present. It's just nuts, totally nuts. And then to deal with the half-wits or the dimwits, or the dimwit, that's a good word, dimwit, had to deal with the dimwits around him. Dr. Fauci made a comment on one of the videos. He was in Italy having an interview, and he was saying how the masks stop absolutely nothing. They do nothing for you. They stop nothing. They don't stop the dripping. This is coming from Fauci. So then he comes back to the United States and he's wearing a mask. It's funny to see and behold. If everybody took their masks and their gloves and just threw them outside the stores, saying we're not wearing them, and if you want us to come in, it would change the policy. I'll tell you, they'll have that policy changed in a week. By the time they get back and forth with head office, they'll have that whole thing resolved. The game would be up. So this is something like you got to pay attention to as well, and pay attention to the environment around you. You have to see if you didn't bring any unwantables with you. It's nano dust, drones flying, the swarms. These are things, like I said, we got to keep in the back of our mind or in the middle of our mind, because the television, the battle we're having with the television, with those that watch television, because I don't watch it, the battle you're having isn't because you, geez, I just lost it. The battle you're having isn't because of the, geez, I lost the whole thought. Just took it from me that quick. It'll come back to me. All the things that are going on around us, like I said, it's all theatrics, all of it. And like I said, when you start standing up to it, it's in exposing the theatrics. That's when people are going to. Sometimes people need a nudge. And then you see enough people talking in the way that I'm mentioning now. I talk like that wherever I go. People do too. We give them a little nudge. They may just wake up and may start to look at this big picture of this thing, and how the game is being played to manipulate them, so that if they take the shot or if they take the vaccine, they'll get a prize. And their prize is they can now go back to normal. They can go back and living normal. Who the hell wants that? You can go back living normal. Before this happened, I was a poor guy. I was living out in the street, but now, it's just the way it is. It is just the way it is today. The new normal, the theatrics and the games. Yeah, so when we mention to them the different things, okay, when you look at the documents are going to be highlighted, okay? The one I see here. Let's see here. Oh, it's in the uploaded. Oh wait, there's more, and it's documented. That's what it's called. When you look at that PDF that I've uploaded, you're going to see a lot of different things there that are going to help you in what you're going to have to deal with in order to tell people what's going on. It's all kinds of stuff there. You're not going to have any problem in finding anything that you can't show them. The document is set up. When I did the document, okay, it was a PDF, so I had to switch it over and then do the highlighting and put it back. And when you see, for instance, no clinical trials on the efficacy of face coverings in public settings to protect against COVID-19 were identified. They never even made a trial, just somebody decided to put masks on everybody. Conclusions: both surgical and cotton masks seem to be ineffective to preventing the dissemination of SARS-CoV-2 from the coughs of patients with COVID-19 to the environment and the external mass. In other words, it doesn't do nothing. Believe it or not, hand washing does more in prevention than the mask, because the mask, every time you go into a shop, you spread whatever you brought in from the last previous shop. And technically, if they want to mandate a mask and a glove management, then they should be providing those gloves and masks to everybody across the board. And because every time you walk into a place and you touch something, you walk through, you now are carrying whatever you had there on those masks and gloves to the next place. Theoretically, when you go shopping and you go to a store, you go to Canadian Tire, Costco, you go out to fast food, you go to Value Village, Canadian Tire, Sears and Roebuck, Kmart, Walmart, whatever it is you shop at, Best Buy. You go into these places and you're wearing this stuff. You are just spreading on everything, whatever anybody else has touched. And at nighttime they may gas or do whatever to the place, but still the idea is there. You get up, you grab your stuff, you go into a store, you've been exposed to whatever, you walk out, now you're carrying whatever you've been exposed to the next store, and again, this is something that you can present because it's in here as well. So theoretically, when you go shopping, let's say you go to Canadian Tire or Ace Hardware in the States, whatever, or Menards or Home Depot. So you go into those stores. Technically, when you get done, you're supposed to go home, take off your clothes, take a shower, put a new set of clothes back on, new mask, new gloves, and go to the next store. That's what you're technically supposed to really be doing. Here's something about the mask. Let me read this to you. The report has been criticized by other scientists, warning that it amounted to no more than an opinion and overstated the available evidence. In other words, the masks don't work. They fabricated the whole thing. Completely fabricated the whole thing. They don't work. They haven't worked. They don't work. They do. I tell you what they do though. They will make you sick. They will help you spread disease. They'll help you, be isolated. They ostracize you because of these devices. But the masks don't work at all. At all. You'll see it here all in the report. You see it here all in the report. And something like this could actually be used in the court of law to, again, protect people, to protect yourself. I can see this heading that way. I really can. I think the reason why, like I said, the scientists and stuff are now, changing their minds on some of the things they said. I think this isn't because they were doing research or trying to benefit us. It's because they know and realize it's getting so hot outside and in the 90s and nobody's going to wear these masks anyway. And if they do, they'll start dropping like flies and they'll have a bigger problem than they had if they had never brought in a mask in the first place. And if something goes wrong like that, you can bet your ass they're not going to put them out there anymore. Which is really what we need to do. Just a thought. The systems we're in are just beyond belief corrupt. Just so you know, it's beyond belief. Anyway, I'm going to call it tonight because again I had a bunch going today, and I was reading all these reports and trying to get them out there, and I was dumbfounded and flabbergasted by a bunch of the reports I posted today, and I figured everybody should be able to share what I had to suffer. All right, on the site alone, you'll have there a bunch of people, a bunch of activists. They're trying their best to help mankind survive the apocalypse. I guess that's a good way of putting it. So help them out any way you can. Give what you can. If you can't give, don't worry about it. And just share the data. Share the data. So you're in the loop. Alrighty, I think that'll be just about it. Like I said, help anybody in that pod, I forgot to mention. I knew there was something I was going to forget. Copper. I'm going to show you how to make copper acetate. All you need is a piece of copper, a 16-ounce bottle of peroxide, and clear-based vinegar. Pour them in a bowl together and then put a piece of copper in there, stir it up, And in about 15 minutes to a half hour, you'll have copper acetate. Imagine that. And it's good for treating painful issues in your lower extremities. So take 1 or 2 drops, mix it with a tea or a coffee, and you'll watch how they will come alive again. You know, it's that vinegar is a great formula. It's easy to make. It's cheap. You can use it to wash your washroom. You can wash your showers where you might get mold and stuff. You know, you can use it on counters. You can wipe your doorknobs with it. So if someone does come to your door and they might have some kind of far-fetched super duper pooper trooper disease, if they touch your doorknob, you'll disinfect them that way. You can put some on your hand before you go shopping. It might turn your hand a little blue. But it's a good product that you can make, and it's cheap, and I'll probably have to do a video on it, I know. So until the next segment, to your health, we're still here. And remember, read the Gospels. Read the books of Jesus. All right. See you at the next show.